Hey guys, today we're going to be making tabs using Pure Css without any JavaScript. So this is the end result we're going to have. We're going to have tabs with some text, and then here in the top we're going to have some type of navigation. So if we click on tab 2, it's going to show the second one, and if we click on tab 3, it's going to show the last one. So the things we're going to be needing is just the HTML and CSS, as I mentioned. So I already made the index.html and style.css. And here, the first thing we want to add is a container that's going to hold everything. And inside that container, we want to add an input, which is going to be a type of radio. We want to add a name that's going to be tabs. And we want to add an ID that's going to say first tab. And then here, we also want to make sure this one is checked. So we're going to make the first input checked. Then under that, we want to add a label. That's going to be for first tab. And the text is just going to say tab 1. And then under that, we want to make a div with a class of tab. And inside that div, we want to have an h2 that's going to say tab 1. And we also want to have a paragraph that's just going to contain some lorem ipsum text in this case. So we can just type lorem and hit tab. And it's just going to give us lorem ipsum text here. So let's make some space here. And the second thing we're going to need, we're going to copy input, label, and this whole div. So we want to grab all of these, paste it here 2 more times. Because other two are almost identical, there are a few things we need to change. So for the second one right here, line 23, we want to remove checked. ID should be second tab. And label 4 should also be second tab. And this is just going to say tab 2. And h2 is going to say tab 2. And then for the last one, we also want to remove checked. This is going to be third tab. Label for third tab as well. This is just going to say tab 3. And this is also going to be tab 3. Everything else remains the same. And at the top, I also forgot to link my CSS, so let's do that. And we're going to open this with live server here so we can see it. Now we can go back to our styles. And firstly, we want to remove some margin and padding from all the elements on the page and add a box sizing. And we're also going to add a font family that's going to be sans serif here. Then we can target our body. We're going to make it full height. And we also want to add some type of background to it so we can see it. So let's add some type of gray background, gray blue, I guess. And then we also want to add display flex. It's going to help us center our container on the page. So now we can target our container here. We're going to make it 640 pixels. And we're going to add some margin auto to center it on the page. Then we want to add display flex, and we want to wrap them here. Then under the container, we have tab, so with a class of tab. We want to add a white background to it first. We want to add some padding, 30 pixels. And then we want to add an order of 1, so that's going to help us move these inputs at the top. And then under the order, we also want to make them display none, because we're only going to be showing one of these, and it's always going to be checked one. So we first want to display none all of them here. Then the next thing we have is a paragraph that's inside our tab. So we can do tab P here. We're going to have line height of 1.8, font size of 15 pixels. And we're going to add some margin for the top only. So we're going to have 4 pixels, 0, 0, 0. Then we can target our label. And we're going to add a background of white, color of black, so 0, 0, 0. We're going to add some padding. So we're going to only add padding for the top and bottom of 17 pixels and 0 for left and right. We're going to add a width, 100 pixels. And we're going to align the text, so text align center here. And we also want to add a cursor of pointer, so once we hover, it looks like we can click. And two other things, we want to add border right. That's going to be 1 pixel solid EEE. And we want to do the same thing for border bottom. And we can add a transition here. So this transition is going to help us once we click the tabs. We want to transition background color and the border. So we're going to add all 600 milliseconds ease in out. Then under that, we can target our input. So input, we can do type radio. And we want to display none here because we don't want to see these buttons. Then under that, we can target our input again. So input type radio. And after that, we want to say checked. So we want to target the one that is checked. In our case, only the first one is checked currently. And we want to target the label. So plus means everything that comes after the input that's checked. So this label that comes after this. So our first input is checked, so it's going to target this label. Then if this input is checked, it's going to target this label. That's what plus does here. And we want to add a background. We're going to have some type of light blue background here. That's going to be D0, not O. We're going to have a white color. And we also want to remove the borders. Not remove, but we're going to add a transparent border so the tab doesn't become bigger or smaller. So we're going to add border right, 1 pixel solid transparent. And we want to do the same thing for the border bottom. So 1 pixel solid transparent. So this one is blue. If we go back, that's why, because we have checked here and we're targeting the checked one. And then lastly here, let's target our input again. So input type radio. We're going to do checked. We'll do plus label. And then we're going to target the div that comes after the label. So that div is tab. So we want to target tab here. And we want to make it display block. And if you remember, we made it display none for all of them, for the tabs before. But in our case, now we're making the display block only the one that's checked. So now, if we click on tab 2, this one becomes checked, and we're showing that. We click on tab 3, this one becomes checked, and we're showing that. And we also have blue background that we added here in color for the active one. And since we have this transition here, for example, if we change this to 1200, you can probably see it much better, how it transitions. But I'll keep it at 600 here. So this is what it looks like. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.